guess you see there's no artist statement on the wall, because I think that there's really no way you can talk about paintings like this. And then if you hang nouns and verbs on them, it's really tricky. This is a failed project, but I got some nice paintings out of it. And I really, really don't want to talk about this. You're going to have to ask questions, and you only get to know what you can worm out of it. So who's got a question? Scott.
I have a question. What was the project that you intended to do and you planned to fail?
Okay. I don't know if you can see it back there. Good question, Scott. Plans. See these plans? All right. The idea was that they were going to hang on the wall like this. Ignore the lines. I can't point and talk at the same time. No, oh, stop. I have yet another one. A blank. Okay? So this is the way it was supposed to be on the wall. And when my friends and I came over to hang up, these are my hangers over here. Andy, Jamie. Well, it was supposed to be 10 feet up there.
There's a piece of tape.
Yeah, see that piece of tape up there? You couldn't see the paintings. There's a lot of detail in the paintings, so we thought we should just forget it. I mean, I knew that was an option that I might have to take, and so we did. But I designed this whole thing with this wall in mind, and then I have this tiny little corner of the studio to paint in. So I tried to do a scale model, and that's what all this is up here for. And it started off with color strips, because I knew color was going to be what I wanted to work with. Does that answer your question? Okay, how about another question? Kathleen.
Well, then what preceded this idea of hanging in that specific grid? What thing made you say, I want to?
Well, you know how you carry things around in your head for years?
Yes.
And they just kind of ferment or foment in there, and then all of a sudden something will cause one of them to rise to the top. I made a Christmas present painting for my sister that had a whole bunch of colors in it. I made collages, I put them on the table, photographed them, put them on my camera, printed them all out, and started with that. And after I made that painting, I thought, oh, this is what's floated to the top. So that's when I went to make these. And there's a jar of paint in my house for every one of these colors. And I had to go back and refer to these. And at the same time, I had maps and charts and game boards, things like that floating in my head. So they would pop in and out, pop in and out. But it doesn't really matter what I started with, because I didn't end up with anything I started with.
That's all.
Right. So actually, this actually turned out to be sort of a chart on how to make paintings. To me, in my head, that's what I was dealing with. And
how did you decide to put them on thick? Taller behind everything.
I don't know. I just like
putting the stuff on the side. That's one of the best parts of it, is you see it and then you put it on the side.
Yeah, I like that too.
We were gonna suggest to you for years and months, so you can see all the other sides too. Because I've seen the top side hung up so long ago.
Maybe we should get some sticks with mirrors on them, like they use for cars. You can go still.
But I mean, it's really nice. I mean, it's a cool thing to have.
Well, cradle boards are really popular right now. There's lots of people in here painting on cradle boards, right? Hold your hands up. So anyway, I just
What is that, man? Oh, what?
cradle board.
A cradle
Panel.
Cradle panel. I never know what it's called.
Well, it's a panel
Like this.
It's cradle to keep it from warping. You're working on wood panel.
I don't know where the cradle came from.
Well, a cradle.
Mine.
I want to know how much relevance this work and the idea of using the whole facade has to do with an earlier work that you did that was on this wall over here that had a tremendous figurative aspect to it that was just marvelous. But in what you're saying here, there is a great relationship between the mechanics or the construction of those two, as I recall it.
They were made by the same person.
And that's all you have to say about
That's
that?
how you do that. Yeah, because they were all completely different. So sometimes you need to work big.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have to work big and you don't have a big space and you have to work in parts, you know, it can be done something.
So I always find your work playful, but these in particular, I've never really noticed before in your other pieces that seem to play so much with space and depth and just playing with fields. Had you consciously been thinking about that in movies?
I think if you could go back 10, 15 years, 20 years, my work would have been just like this.
Oh.
When I first started off, I was completely non-objective painter. And that was in 75, I guess. And then by 87 or 88, figures started slowly coming in.
But even this recent series that you did about when you were walking around the lakes, those were not figurative.
No, they
but
weren't.
and I have one of those from that show, and they're not that they're flat. I'm not saying this, but I've never perceived such a depth play, and I just was that not consciously done.
I just recycled that to it, just
Oh, okay.
because these paintings needed that kind of paints where those labels didn't.
Okay.
They were more texture stuff. Okay, we're finished now.
Seems to me you were telling me at the beginning you had some strings or something that you were trying to set up a pattern here, with all of them together, to work together to do it.
I did not pay him.
Black and red?
You probably can't see this, yeah. Well, that brings in the title that doesn't fit these paintings now, too. You can only do so much. The title has to come in when, Jason? 4 months before the paintings are there?
Yeah, 4 months,
Something
yeah.
like
2.5 years normally.
Can you see where I guess you can't see where they are now because I can't pull at the same time. There's strings in here. No, you can't see the strings. But there are red and black lines here. Those are going to go behind the paintings and connect everything this way. You can do that. But that's what the title is related to. Line breaks. And those of you who write poems know that in a poem, line breaks, you can get a lot of meaning from this line. As it turns around and goes that way, you get meaning in the first line and you get meaning in the second line. And resonance, bouncing between. So that's what that was about.
Why did you do the lines?
Because it put the well, I didn't do this whole thing because it put the paintings way up there.
And so even configured this way, you didn't still.
I
want to
didn't
do
think I
some sort of
needed the
connection.
lines that way, but I guess I could have. It would look like an electronic board, wouldn't it? Circuit board, yeah. Might look like a circuit board.
Talk about changing your color palette up.
I didn't pay her either. Yeah, that was one of the things I really wanted to do this time was change my color palette. It didn't work. It didn't work a bit. Okay.
He did a bit.
I have never made an orange and yellow painting.
Oh, no, I'm seeing color, I'm not seeing from your palette before.
Well, okay, well, that was the idea. And
Well,
if it worked, it worked. If it didn't,
Oh, no.
they all look the same to me.
She's colored.